How's it going out there, YouTube world? This is Knee to the Face with some NFL Week 2 picks. So, let's quit dilly-dallying, get right onto it, huh? Alright, first off, Seattle against Pittsburgh. This should be a no-brainer. Pittsburgh's going to win it. They just embarrassingly lost to the Baltimore Ravens. They're not going to be happy. They're going to look to come back strong. Right after that, Baltimore against Tennessee. I'm taking Baltimore on this one. They looked phenomenal against the Steelers, and that offensive line really has shown improvement from last year. Should be an easy win for Baltimore. Jacksonville against the New York Jets. I'm taking the Jets on this one. Jacksonville does not look impressive. They did not look impressive in their win. I'm taking the Jets to win this one. Arizona against Washington. Presents some interesting things, but I think Washington is going to be good enough to take this one. Looks like they have their quarterback situation figured out. Rex Grossman looked a lot better than people were expecting. I'm taking them for the win. Oakland against Buffalo. I'm taking Buffalo. They looked phenomenal. Oakland did not impress. So, Buffalo's going to take the win on this one. Tampa Bay and Minnesota. I'm taking Tampa Bay on this one. Minnesota, I'm not seeing them. I'm not a believer. Tampa Bay looks like they could come and be the underdog in this. That kind of scares people. After that, we have Chicago, New Orleans. This one was interesting. Chicago's defense looked phenomenal. New Orleans looked downright lackluster. But New Orleans' offense is much to be feared. So it's going to be an interesting match. I'm taking Chicago on this one just because I'm a defensive believer. Next up is Green Bay and Carolina. No-brainer there. Green Bay is going to win it. Cleveland and Indianapolis. If Peyton Manning was in there, I'd say Indianapolis would be a no-brainer. But with him not being there and with how horrible they looked last week, I don't see him improving enough to beat an otherwise very terrible Cleveland team. Cleveland's going to get the win. Kansas City against Detroit. Detroit's going to take this one. They've made a lot of improvements, and that defensive line is phenomenal. They're going to basically embarrass Kansas City. Dallas and San Francisco. Dallas looked alright in their loss. They looked pretty good, and they actually had the first 3 quarters pretty much locked up, and then they just kind of choked on the fourth. I don't think Tony Romo is going to be all that impressive, but I think he's going to be good enough to net Dallas the first W of the year. Next up is Cincinnati and Denver. I'm torn on this one. Denver looked terrible. Cincinnati looked even worse. It's a lose-lose situation. I took Denver because I think they might have one piece that Cincinnati doesn't, that's a quarterback. Houston, Miami. Houston should be a no-brainer on this one. They looked phenomenal. Miami looked terrible. So, there you go. Alright, San Diego against New England. San Diego has a history of really slow starts, and New England will make you pay for that. New England gets the win here. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be fairly close, but New England's going to come out on top. St. Louis and the New York Giants. This one is pretty much going to the Giants. St. Louis, I'm not going to be impressed with. A lot of people are calling them underdogs. I'm calling them liars. The New York Giants are going to be the team to pull out the victory here. And the hardest game to pick, because both teams do have the ability to put up big points, Philadelphia and Atlanta. I'm taking Philadelphia by 1 touchdown on this one, and it's going to come at a late breaking period. The only reason I really picked Philly over Atlanta is because they do have a better defense. Atlanta, their defense did not look impressive last week, and they were never really a defensive team. Unless they can put up points every single time they touch the football, they're not going to win this one. Philadelphia gets the win. So, there you go. Those are my Week 2 predictions. A little fast, I know, but it's alright. Questions, comments, concerns? Feel free to comment, and peace.